Okay, this is Crypto Mox here, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you a bit about Android pen testing. So, one thing that we need to look at is a program called APK Wash. So, I'm going to be doing the pen tester lab exercises. So, we're going to be doing maybe 2 of them. We'll see how we go. But in the exercises, there is ways that they have these practice labs, and they have Android ones, and they just get you ready for like hacking Android apps and doing bug bounties. So Android 1.01, this one here is easy, but obviously I completed this pretty quickly. So we did use a tool called APK tool. And that will decompile the application and give us back all the unzipped contents. So for this, we will download APK tool, and it's the matter of just like going to the GitHub repository, or actually in Kali. So we'll do it like this actually. In Kali, all we need to do is just go apt get and install APK tool. Spell if I can type, and we'll do a sudo at the start to be root. Now that will go ahead. Obviously I've already installed it, but we just need to type in a simple apt-get install APK tool. If you can see that, probably can't see that properly, but just that one there. And that's for APK tool, but we also need dex2jar for some of the other labs. Dex2jar will get the classes file. So like in here we might have like, I'll just source my profile because it's not showing up the color syntax. So yeah, obviously we've got this classes.dex, and that is just like a file that will, it's obviously it's a Dalvik file, and then maybe use dex2jar, and we can turn it into a jar file and then open it up in a program called JD GUI, I think it's called, under documents, it's called JD GUI, yes. And by looking at, by opening the jar file, so we can basically unzip the APK, look at all the contents of the file, like what file, like the meta, unzip the Android application, because all an Android application is, it's zipped, it's compressed. So we can unzip that and get everything from the application, like all the source code, all the the files that are in there, the whole lot. And then what we do is we use dex2jar to sort of compile it to a jar file, and then we just open it up in JD GUI. And this is what it looked like. It will be able to view all the code and look at what's inside the application. Obviously, I was testing out Telegram because that's a bug bounty program, but I found not too much there anyway. So we've got we know how to install APK tool. Let's install dex2jar. Now, dex2jar again. I think you can type in. I think you have to go to GitHub, so we go to GitHub. I think we can do an APK apt-get for this too. Let's have a look. So we do sudo apt-get install dex2jar. Yeah, it works too. Yes, it does. So we do a simple sudo apt-get install dex2jar, and that should look like, should have like D2J, and these will be all the programs there, all the dex2jar programs right there. And the last thing we want is a JD GUI. So JD GUI, which will be able to, it's a Java decompiler, so we'll be able to look at all the source code of the Java file, and since it will be the Android app. And for this, you just go to releases, and we just choose the Windows build, or if you've got OS X, you choose the OS build. And we don't want to compile it from source, we just want to download the Windows build and unzip it, and you should be able to run it. But without further ado, let's get started. So we've got this Android 01. This is the very first challenge. And in this challenge, you can download the Android application using the following link. So we'll do that. And it says in this challenge, the application requires a PIN code to give to the user. So a PIN code to give you the key. However, no PIN code is set, so you will not be able to retrieve the key. But we have to basically use APK tool to decompress the file, and we need to decode files like Android manifest to make it. Okay, so we have to decode the files. Okay, so APK tool allows you to unzip the APK, but also to decode files like Android manifest.xml to make it easy to review them. So what we need to do is we need to review the strings. We need to find the key to capture the actual key for the challenge, and we need to just have a look at these files here. Okay, so we've got the program, and we've got the I wonder if I could zoom in here and make this bigger. Just wait a minute. We've got the application installed. Let's change it to 36 maybe. There we go, much better. So we've got the Android application installed. It's right there. It's not installed. We've got it downloaded in the downloads folder. So you want to copy this, but I just want to remove everything in here actually. I'll add it. Just want to remove everything in this file, this directory here, because I don't want any of this. Boom. It's going to take some time. Excuse me. And once done that, we want to, because that Android 01 is downloaded in our downloads file, we want to copy that across. So we can we'll move it across. So we can go move MV mount C users crypt, which is my username, downloads Android 01, and we'll just copy it to the current directory. Okay, so we need to use APK tool to decompress this. So we've got APK tool, and we want to use D, and then we want to type in the Android application. So D will decompile, we'll do that. And it's going to decompile the program. And it's going to give us a classes.dex file, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to have a folder first. And it's going to have all this stuff here. Android, APK, Smally, Smally, or I don't know how you actually say that. But that will contain, I guess, all the classes, I guess. It's basically going to contain pretty much everything, this file. This by extracting it, by using the APK tool, it will basically decompress everything. But what we can do is we can also unzip it, but we don't want to do that. I think for this challenge we need to just look at Android manifest, because the APK tool will decompress the Android manifest file. If you just do an unzip, it won't decompress it. It won't decompress it. So by looking at this is all the activity. So we're able to message. It's got pins.db. This is interesting. This is the pins database. This is really interesting. That's something I would look at too. That's really interesting there. So let's where's that located? That would be, let's just search for that. Let's do a grep. Whoops, type in capital LS. Let's do a grep and let's search for pins.db. And actually what we want to do is we want to do it recursively. So I want to do this one. So this will hopefully give us the, no, okay. So nothing there. Let's go cat APK tool YAML. And it's giving us pretty much, okay, let's try out, let's go to res, and we need to find strings. So what I'm going to do is that setting this challenge to res value strings.xml. Let's look at that. So cd values, oops, my bad. So cd res values, and it says there's a file called strings.xml. Let's have a look at that. Okay. Oh, and as you see in the strings.xml, we have the key to the challenge. Awesome, the PT lab key. So that's the first one pretty much complete. But by looking at the decompiled, compressed application, we were able to view some information that wasn't supposed to be in the file, in the Android application. And this, I haven't done this one before, so this was, I would say, too easy. Time spent, not even an hour. So that's the first one done. All we did is decompiled it and looked at all the information on the inside the app. Okay, let's do number 2. Just need to change this to 2. Okay, this one here is we need to do the same thing. This one I've done before. The same thing, but in the application, there is going to be a database file. Now, applications sometimes store their database information, thinking it'll be super safe, but it's not. So let's just remove. Let's copy again. Let's do the same command here. Let's move, and then from that directory. So there we go. And we want to do number 2. So again, let's use APK tool to decompile. We might have to actually unzip it. We'll just try this anyway. Just decompiled the Android application. Let's go to that directory. And as you can see, we've got assets. That immediately stands out. Let's have a look at that. And we've got this database.SQLite. Now, obviously, when we view this database SQLite, we're not going to be able to look at it properly. Strings is a thing that we will be able to look at the contents of it. So we use strings, we can view it, we can view the strings. And as you can see here, we have the lab key by just typing in strings. That's one way of viewing the contents of the SQLite database. But see, it's all like really weird and you can't really understand it. We wouldn't even like at first think, oh, this is the key. So what we want to do is we're going to go SQLite 3. I want to choose the database file. We want to go dump. I'm going to concat these out to a file called data.back. And now we cut that out. And we get an easier view of the database file. And we see that's the key right there. So, beautiful. We got the key. Successful. Just by using SQLite 3 commands, putting data.SQLite as the argument, and putting .dump, outputting it as a data.back, and cutting it out, and we get the key. Awesome. Too easy. We'll do one more. This is just to get used to, like, you know, what what things we can actually look at the application. I've actually completed this, so I won't do it again. Let's go to, I think one that I tried was it 4? That was a pretty tricky one. Yeah, this is the one here. So this one here was a pretty tricky one. This one had an encrypted, we had to view the source code of the Android application. We had to review it, and we found that there was actually, I found that there was a function that was able to, it was actually decrypting the key in the application. And we could review, I could basically clone that and make it, put in Eclipse, reproduce the function and whatnot, like sort of print out the decrypted key, and we'll be able to get the lab exercise, the key for the lab. Let's try this one out. This one will be the last one. Obviously, I've got a Patreon that wanted to know a little bit about Android pen testing. This is the very basics of what you can do. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Let's go back to Android pen testing. Let's go back and move that file across to our directory, which is 4. Now, this is a little bit different because this time you have to unzip it. So let's remove Android 1, APK, remove Android 2 because we want to be able to just clean things up a bit, you know. It's not going to be able to, we have to be root GUI. No, we don't have to. Cool. Alright, do number 1, 2. And then we'll just unzip Android 4 because we need to actually, We don't need to worry about the manifest file, but we do need to get the classes.dex. So let's unzip Android 04. Like I said, the Android application is nothing but a zipped file. See, it's nothing but a zip archive. So all we need to do is unzip Android 4, and we get all the contents from the Android application. And we have this classes.dex. We can't just view this. We need to use d2jar, d2j dex to jar, and then we just pass in the classes.dex file, and that will create a Java file for us. We'll copy this classes.dex classes.dex to jar file to our desktop. Just maybe we'll do it in documents, crypt in documents, and then we'll open this up in our GD view. So we go to our documents like so, and we want to, obviously we don't want the Android application to. We got this classes dex to jar. This is the one we actually copied across right there. So we want to open up GD GUI, and this we'll be able to review the source code of the application. Let's load that one up, and as you see here, we've got the pen testers Android 04 models. We've got pins, so this is like viewing all the source code of the application. How cool is that? That's pretty cool. Main activity might be an interesting one. No, we're not after main activity, but we are after, I think, build config, no, message activity. Okay, so message activity has something interesting. We've got this is what I was saying before. Secure storage decrypt, and it's decrypting this XOR hash or encryption key. So what we need to do is we need to open up Eclipse, because what we want to actually do is we want to copy this all of that. And since we've got string storage, we need to go here and copy all this function here, all this class, and then just console out print out the key. Okay, so here we go. So this is we're going to create a project called decrypt. I'm going to finish that off. It's going to have something like this in Eclipse, and we want to go to decrypt. And we want to create a new class. And we want to call this main. Or we could just call this decrypt as well. I'm going to generate a public static void main. I'm going to do that. And then we want to copy the secure storage library, because like I said, that relies on the decryption. We don't need that. And we don't want this to be public. We just want it to be a class. Outside of the class here, sorry, like so. There we go. And then we want to go to our message activity, and we want to pretty much copy this and paste it in our main function. Perfect. Now we want to do the magic system.out.print and then the string builder. Like so. Now what we need to do is run this, and you'll see in the console we have the key. That was from by decrypting this XOR. We have the key. And that is that simple. Just by reverse engineering the application and reviewing the source code and figuring out that they are decrypting the key in the application, so we will be able to view that decryption and be able to reverse engineer it and actually decrypt the key. And then we just submit the key. So this is some very basic Android pen testing. I hope you enjoyed it. There's actually going to be a lot. There's going to be some more coming out very soon. But this is the very basics. This is pretty much all you need to know to be able to review, to do bug bounties in Android pen testing. Obviously, there is other tools that we can use to do Android pen testing, and a lot more complicated stuff. Like, I think that there's one called, all you need to do is just type in Android pen testing, and it will come up with loads of stuff, mobile pen testing, like, you know, mobile pen testing cheat sheets. That's pretty cool. You know, they use things like these tools here. ABK tools, obviously the one. Byte viewer. There's so many, and there's actually another tool. There's Drozer, which is good for exploitation. There's ABD, Android Debug Bridge. I think it's ADB, Android Debug Bridge. There's lots of different tools. Burp. Another thing that I'm going to be doing is a bit of a burp in Android. I'm going to try and figure it out first. But we're going to be using burp to actually analyze the requests of a mobile application. You know, look at, like, you know, we'll have to set it up in on our computer, and then we'll, like, you know, do a SSL pinning, etc., the whole lot, and then we'll set up burp so it listens on a proxy on a port that Android is set to, and we'll be able to communicate backwards and forwards from burp on our computer to our Android application on our Android, and we'll be able to, like, you know, click on a button and see the request that it's submitting to the server. Anyway, I hope you like this, and I will catch you later in another video. Cheers. Hope you like this session.